So Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer will face his colleagues in person today as he declines their calls to resign.
Look, I'm not stepping down. Sometimes when you're a leader, you have to do things to avoid a real danger that might come down the curve. And I did it out of pure conviction as to what a leader should do.
This comes after a week of town halls hosted by Democrats as the party attempts to find their footing, but they were met with angry voters over Schumer's decision to pass the funding bill. Listen.
Mr. Schumer has done what I think the most destructive thing that he could possibly do as Democratic leader in your body.
We want you to show some of the backbone and strategic brilliance that Mitch McConnell would have in the minority.
Right.
We want you to show fight.
None of this feels like you're fighting for us, for Colorado, for our kids, for our grandkids.
Schumer is up for re-election in 2028, and speculation is growing that he could face a primary challenge from New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez if he decides to run again. Senator Bernie Sanders nearly stormed out of an interview when he was asked if he'd like to see the squad Democrat join the Senate.
Alexandria is extraordinary. I am so impressed by her work in Congress and she inspires young people all over the country.
Would you like to see her joining the Senate?
Right now, we have, as I said, just a whole lot of people in the Congress. Okay, Jonathan, thanks.
Wait, I got one more. This is important.
Well, I asked you.
Okay.
You want to do nonsense, do nonsense.
No.
I don't want to talk about inside the Beltway stuff.
Democratic Congressman Ro Khanna, though, says there would be a lot of support for her if she does decide to challenge Schumer. Guys.
Welcome to the 2028 presidential race that the Democrats have downs. They're at the gate, and they're off. Jumping out in the lead is Bernie Sanders and another vacation home close behind. It's a DNC dumpster fire and shocking reality. And now here comes policy flip-flopper. A disastrous midterms falls back as Kamala takes the reins. Kamala's cackle falls off quickly as a flood of illegal immigrants move into position. And here comes AOC, followed by No Children and the dumbest thing we've ever heard. Coming down the backstretch, Bernie's new beach house, moving ahead of Jasmine Crockett's finger snap, but coming on the inside is head bob and no, you didn't. It's Build Back Broke, followed by USAID was my campaign funding. I have no campaign funding is challenging for second going into the clubhouse turn. Passing on the rail is DNC dumpster fire, followed by raising taxes, trans kids, and general degeneracy. Here they come spinning out of the turn. Big Pharma in the lead, but here comes Big Soda and Big Glitter. Sniffy Joe was stronger and Disappointed Nancy are neck and neck. And down the stretch they come. The squad is pulling away from a rainbow flag by a length. But coming in strong is Big Booty Latina. Big Booty Latina is passing a burning Tesla, and at the wire it's General Degeneracy crying salty tears, and at least I ain't Donald Trump.
Okay, that's good. I was really excited. I was really bought in. I'm invested in that horse race. I want to see who wins. Big Booty Latina is the one that I got my money on. We are betting, ladies and gentlemen, on a great show today, Monday, March 24th, 2025. Exuding all of the golden confidence of the golden era, Trump's DOJ has decided to start locking up members of Congress. Oh yeah, baby. It's happening. They've been indicted. It's not just talk now, and we look forward to the walk of shame in shackles. Please, arrests, please. Arrest them. We're looking forward to it. Snow White bombs at the box office as the Trump curse reigns over the nation. So many interesting things to talk about with Congressman Scott Perry and also Erica Donalds joining the program. She's the wife of Byron Donalds. He's running for governor here in Florida, and we'll be speaking at his kickoff rally. I'm a big fan of Byron Donalds. My name is Benny Johnson, and this is The Benny Show. The economy, ladies and gentlemen, is going up and down like a roller coaster inside of a decommissioned Azerbaijani circus traveling rodeo. It's not safe, and it's very scary. And every single day that I look at various accounts that I may have with crypto or with the stock market or with whatever, you can see things, well, going berserker mode. So that's okay. It is actually better for your mental health to just not look at all. Ladies and gentlemen, I do have one account, however, that I'm really proud of. My gold and silver investments, physical gold and silver, through my friends at Advantage Gold. Advantage Gold has a summit, and they can teach you to have, well, little stable accounts like I have. And the reason I like that stability is because I'm a father of 4. You got no time. I got no time to waste. Who has extra time to sit there and time the market? It's always going to be a disaster. Invest in something that is up 1,000% since the stock market crash of 2008. And you can find it all out at the Advantage Gold Summit, March 27th at 7 p.m. Eastern. Now it's time to build your own strategic wealth reserve. They're giving away up to $100,000 in free silver. Each person can claim up to $1,000 in free silver and $300 in bonuses. Lock in your spot now. Text Benny to 85545. That's Benny to 85545. Get ahead of the next financial meltdown. Text Benny to 85545 today. Join Advantage Gold Summit now. Okay, so very interesting timing. We had on Friday a massive indictment of a individual who was known as Cori Bush. You may recall Cori Bush. Cori Bush, member of the Squad. She was from St. Louis, and she's one of those Squad members who, was sort of like the right way to say this, was so ghetto fabulous that it was kind of remarkable that she was able to get into Congress in the first place. There are so many fascinating clips of Cori Bush having contravailing opinions, like the one about her own security. This one's my favorite. Cori Bush has been indicted, by the way, and is facing even further indictment. I'm very excited about it. Cori Bush was once asked about defunding police. Do you wish to defund the police? Says a reporter to Cori Bush, while Cori Bush is spending hundreds of nearly $1 million a year in taxpayer expenses on her own private security. And it gives us this glorious moment here that will live on forever.
The thing, I won't let them get that off. You can't get that off. I'm going to make sure I have security because I know I have had attempts on my life and I have too much work to do. There are too many people that need help right now for me to allow that. So if I end up spending $200,000, if I spend 10 more dollars on it, you know what? I get to be here to do the work. So suck it up, and defunding the police has to happen. We need to defund the police and put that money into social safety nets.
You'll never find a clip so with such a tight axis around it of an individual who is saying the same and opposite things in the exact same 30 seconds. I need private security because I'm unsafe. I'm unsafe because I live in St. Louis. I live in St. Louis because this is where I could get elected to Congress, because the entire city is a complete, it looks like a war zone in St. Louis. You drive through it. And we defunded the police in St. Louis. And so that's why I'm unsafe. And around we go. The reason why Cori Bush wanted to continue to lavish herself in spending was because she has a husband who was her private security. She was paying her husband hundreds of thousands of dollars. Do you see how this all works? It's like this is like the exact same grift that they always get caught up in. So you get a member of Congress, you get the government, you get access to the government money key, and then you pay your spouse as much as you fork over as much as you possibly can to your family members. This is the Joe Biden model. She gets to pay her husband $750,000 in private security, even though he has no security experience. Squad member and progressive Democrat Cori Bush denied misusing funds for private security and blamed right-wing organizations to spur the Justice Department investigation into her campaign spending. The Missouri lawmaker who married her bodyguard spent more than $750,000 on security since she was elected in 2020, her campaign account. I can confirm that the Department of Justice is reviewing my campaign spending on security services. We're fully cooperating with the investigation. This investigation, ladies and gentlemen, is ongoing. She's since lost. She got primaried by the Democrat Party, and now she's been indicted. Ladies and gentlemen, her husband is her security guard, whose punishment, I believe, should absolutely simply be spending time with Cori Bush. I think that they should just be locked up together, and that it is enough. Like, this poor guy. He should just have to live with Cori Bush. There you go. This is Mr. $750,000 a year private security, has no background in private security. Okay. Squad member Cori Bush's husband indicted for pocketing $20,000 in illegal loan payments for personal benefit and enjoyment. It's the Fannie Willis thing, right? It's the exact same thing. It's like, again, it's so ghetto fabulous. It's the Fannie Willis thing. This is the Nathan Wade, the Fannie Willis. It's the exact same. This is the exact same scam. Fannie Willis hires her boyfriend. Cori Bush hires her bodyguard. And now he's getting indicted. No word. We reached out to the Justice Department. No word on whether Cori Bush will be indicted next. But ladies and gentlemen, if they're going after the husband, makes you think that they're probably trying to apply some leverage here, right? It's probably what's happening. Husband of Cori Bush, former, allegedly bilked taxpayers out of more than $20,000 on a COVID loan scheme. He used the money for his potential benefit and enjoyment, according to the U.S. District Attorney's Office. Courtney Merritt's, 46, was charged in a federal indictment Thursday. 2 counts of wire fraud, allegedly fraudulent applications, filed with the Small Business Administration in 2020 and 2021. So this guy had no real business. He claimed he had a business. He has no proof of that. He defrauded the COVID PPP loan program. And now, hopefully, he's going to prison. And we'll see what happens to Cori Bush. Cori Bush is somebody who isn't very good at math. We've got one final, it's sad. And it makes me really sad that these members of Congress are no longer in office because, well, they're so damn entertaining. Cori Bush was asked once about who should pay what in taxes and how the tax brackets should work. This is while she was running for Congress. I'm going to give you a perfect insight into how Democrats choose their candidates, the high intelligence levels and the high IQ levels of the Democrat bench. These are the people that will be running against J.D. Vance in just a few years. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Cori Bush explaining marginal tax brackets.
Percentage. So you're saying that you're saying that they're paying their fair share is what you're saying?
No, I'm asking what percentage is a fair share?
Their fair share, the same, if a third of my money is going to taxes, then I think a third of their money should be going to taxes. Well, it does.
I'm trying to understand because you realize the effective tax rate on the poor is less than it is on the rich, right?
Okay, so first of all, I'm not the poor. I'm very close to that line, but I'm not the poor.
Okay, so the effective tax rate on the middle class is less than it is on the rich, correct? What fair share would you like to?
If you're a member of Congress and you're asked about, like, do rich people pay more money? The reporters are, rich people pay a lot more into the system than poor people. In fact, poor people pay nothing into the system. Poor people live off the rich people. The rich people are the only ones who pay taxes. The middle class are the only ones who pay taxes. If you're a poor person, you pay 0 taxes. So the rich people pay for the poor people, right? You understand that, right? Because if you're paying 0 into the system because you make 0 money, but you're taking all of the SNAP benefits and welfare benefits and Medicaid benefits and Medicare benefits and child benefits, then you're paying nothing. You're getting all the benefit. The rich person's paying all the money into the system. In fact, the top 1% pay something close to like 60% of the actual revenue that the IRS generates. So, see how that works? If you're Cori Bush, if you're a member of Congress and you're asked a simple question like that and you're stuck like this, you see like the Cori Bush in that clip. She like there's this moment, your mouth's agape, you're staring at the ceiling. It's best to probably not push things forward, right? It'd be a nice time to just kind of drop out at that point. But she did, and now she may be going to prison. Ladies and gentlemen, Cori Bush still under investigation. That's all we know from our Justice Department contacts. Still under investigation for misuse of campaign funds and misuse of government funds for paying her boyfriend. It's the Fannie Willis operation, man. Paying her boyfriend to be her private security. So here's the indictment, ladies and gentlemen. St. Louis man is what they say. Cori Bush's husband. One final thing that I'll miss about this, and we're going to get to the new version of Cori Bush in Congress, someone named Jasmine Crockett. One thing I'll miss is just the savage stupidity of these people. It's so sad that we don't get clips like this. I mean, we do, but they're trying. I think they're culling the herd. The herd is culling itself of the truest, lowest IQ individuals. Cori Bush asked on camera, "Do you think that Joe Biden should run again?" And this one's again. This is Hall of Fame answer. Let's go.
Do you want to see Joe Biden run for a second term?
She's going to go.
Yeah, that's an easy question. It's not going to take long. Do you want to see Joe Biden run?
I don't want to answer that question because we have not. That's not. Yeah, I don't want to answer that question.
Okay.
I mean, he's the president, and he has the right to run for a second term. Absolutely. That's.
But
I don't want to. I don't want. I'd rather you not do that.
Okay,
Answer.
so you got like 2 minutes to be in the car.
Yeah, I know. I got to get to the.
Well, thanks very much.
The other thing. Okay.
Appreciate it.
I got to get to the other thing. Do you want Joe Biden to run again? He has a right to. You gotta love the honesty. And now, well, ladies and gentlemen, they effed around and they found out Democrats have taken the Cori Bush model, which the Cori Bush model is predicated off of the first time in my lifetime I saw domestic terrorism used by the left. This was in St. Louis, this place called Ferguson, Missouri. It was all based on a lie on this peaceful young man who actually attacked police officers named Michael Brown. He was shot and killed. Barack Obama fomented that lie because he thought it could get him political power. And the left sort of locked into the we can burn and torch and terrorize Americans for power model that they've been using through BLM and now through their attacks on Tesla. And Tesla attacks are getting out of hand. Some examples of the vandalism that they are using against Teslas, and by the way, just a reminder, it was just a couple of weeks ago that they were mandating all Americans drive a Tesla. So just like a few weeks ago, it was every American must have an EV. Now it's we will light the EVs on fire and call you a Nazi for driving one. Here are some examples of Tesla vandalism, just because they don't like Elon Musk. This is, of course, political vandalism. It's not just your standard, I mean, you can't even call it eco-terrorism, right? Because Tesla is one of the greenest companies in the world. It also employs hundreds of thousands of Americans and makes America just one of those leading countries in the world when it comes to technology and when it comes to maintaining a strong nation. Here we go. Nah. Here's Tesla's getting keyed. Funny thing, you do realize that everything is a computer. You realize these are like machines, right? Like that there's cameras on every single angle of the Tesla. Something called Sentinel mode, where the car is constantly recording. Okay, here we go. There's some videos that we can't. They're always the perfect. They're always the absolute. They're always exactly who you'd expect. There you go. Like, you're doing it on camera, right? Like, do you understand? This is like a bad target to have because they're recording, and if they're on Sentinel mode, they're always recording. Okay. Here's more. And they're setting, I mean, this is doing hundreds of millions of dollars in damage, right? And also, it's very dangerous. This is why we've often been pushing for the civil rights. The Civil Rights Act needs to be amended for political violence. You want to really cook these guys? Like, the Civil Rights Act protects people based on religion and race and whatever, and they need to add political violence to that. So you can make this a civil rights charge, right? Because this is what they're doing. they're attacking these people and these individuals on a civil rights basis. It's the same thing you see when some kid wears a MAGA hat on campus and they get savagely attacked. Tesla charging stations. Again, what's it like? What's it like in the mind of a lib? What's it like to say you're for personal freedom and bodily autonomy after the Roe v. Wade decision at the Supreme Court, and in the same year say that we're going to lock you up and take your job away if you don't get our injections, our experimental therapeutics? What's it like to say that you're for the environment and you're for green energy and you're for saving the world, and then using fossil fuels to set electric cars on fire? Ladies and gentlemen, these attacks have not gone unnoticed. Obviously, it's made for a scary environment for people who own Teslas. Individuals in Congress are fomenting these attacks. Jasmine Crockett, one of our all-time favorites, saying that she wants Elon Musk to be taken down. Meanwhile, Tim Walz is out bragging about the crashing stock of Tesla. Jasmine Crockett, what does it mean when you say you want to take down Elon Musk? Here's what the Congresswoman said.
Politicians, so I'll make sure that I keep it short, but I am truly here for very selfish reasons. Starting with on March 29th, it's my birthday, and all I want to see happen on my birthday is for Elon to be taken down. Yes. Listen, I have learned as I serve on the DOJ Oversight Committee that there is only one language that the people that are in charge understand right now. And that language is money. And so I've been so proud to see us organize behind a cause.
So what did you mean by that exactly? What do you mean? Because right now there are libs catching terrorism charges with mandatory minimum sentences for this, which is cannot explain to you enough, an excellent result. When you see, it's what pisses me off so much about the current spate of swattings. You know how you stop swattings of conservative influencers? You take one person who's called in a fake police report to try and get a conservative killed. You charge them with the maximum penalties, you make them famous, and then you frog march them out in front of the country. And that's how you stop all swattings. How you stop this from happening to Teslas, which it is actually a domestic political attack on their own side. I would argue that probably the vast majority of Tesla owners are Democrats. The entire thing is obscenely stupid. But these individuals, see if you can find what they all have in common. I assure you, it's not their pronouns. Ladies and gentlemen, these individuals are now going to be charged. Let's put their names up, shall we? Let's do our fair share on naming and shaming here. Elias Marquez, Jordan Weller, Daniel Brooks, Darnell Brooks. We got South Carolina, Colorado in there, and Oregon. They're all facing 20 years in prison. Was it worth it? Do we have the crying mugshot? Was that real? I saw that this weekend. Was there? It's a crying mugshot. Did that really happen? Yeah, get me that. Get me that. There was like the guy crying. Was that a hoax? Oh, okay, sad. All right. So this is what must happen. They're all getting charged with terrorism. They're serious about this. President Trump is serious about this. President Trump talking about the Tesla attacks, saying it's time for mandatory minimums. It's time for domestic terrorism charges. This is something that not a single person caught during the BLM riots that murdered at least 25 black people. So great job there. But then, of course, terrorized the rest of the nation. Can you name a single person that got charged, that got walked into prison for that? In order to stop that from becoming your country, in order to stop from living in Rwanda or Somalia, some nation that is constantly in civil war and constantly under terrorist threat, you have to make examples of these people. Apparently, Jasmine Crockett is going to be made example of. Pam Bondi, just a couple of hours ago, warned that members of Congress will not be immune from terroristic targeting charges. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
On Tesla vehicles and dealerships. Give us the consequences there, and what are you learning once they're arrested? Why are they doing this?
Well, you know, we're looking at so much on this. There have been 3 federal charges so far, and I say so far. We are looking at all of these cases across the country. We have a dedicated task force. These are not isolated incidents, as you know, and these aren't vandals. These are Molotov cocktails. You know, that could be a weapon of mass destruction that they're throwing in Tesla dealerships, that they're lighting these Tesla charging stations on fire, that are in residential neighborhoods. I mean, it could cause tremendous damages. And people need to know the 3 people in custody right now, they will receive severe and swift consequences, and they are facing up to 20 years in prison. We are not negotiating these. We are not coming off these charges. We are looking at everything, especially if this is a concerted effort. This is domestic terrorism. And Maria, now you have this Congresswoman Crockett who is calling for attacks on Elon Musk on her birthday. Let's take him out on my birthday, she says. Yet she turns and says, oh, I'm not calling for violence. Well, she is an elected public official. And so she needs to tread very carefully, because nothing will happen to Elon Musk. And we're going to fight to protect all of the Tesla owners throughout this country, and it's this basic safety. Once again, domestic terrorism is going to come to a stop in our country.
She did spin around quickly, Jasmine Crockett. Just in case you're wondering if they don't fear this, Jasmine Crockett had to go on that same program and apologize to Elon Musk, which makes you think that someone did something behind the scenes to say, you're going to catch a case here. I want to take out Elon Musk on my birthday. President Trump taking this very, very seriously, saying that the attacks on Tesla are an attack on America, and that's true. It is our most successful car company. It's a car company that employs hundreds of thousands of people, adds hundreds of billions, trillions to our economy. I'm not sure exactly. We'll go over the Tesla stock in just a moment. Here's President Trump.
And if we don't have Elon, they could be up there a long time. Who else is going to get him? And I just want to thank him. He's going through a lot, what they're doing to him. And these people are going to be caught, and they're going to be caught, and they're going to be prosecuted. And from what they tell me, I see this just by watching your programs and reading the news, but from what they tell me, they could get 20 years in jail, and they'll get it. I'll tell you, there's going to be no leniency, and there'll be no pardons. I can tell you that right.
And you said this morning 20 years in jail, and then maybe they get, you said this morning 20 years in jail, and then maybe they'll go to one of these prisons in El Salvador. Do you think with the way that the judges have been issuing injunctions, it would be easier or harder to send these Tesla domestic terrorists to a jail in El Salvador than these MS-13 or Tren de Aragua guys?
Well, I view these people as terrorists just like others. These are, when I looked at those showrooms burning and those cars, not 1 or 2, like 7, 8, 10 burning, exploding all over the place. These are terrorists. You didn't have that on January 6th, I can tell you. You didn't have anything like that on January 6th, which is sort of amazing because on January 6th, the Democrats were talking. Nobody was killed other than a very beautiful young woman, Ashley Babbitt. Nobody was killed. And you look at what's going on now with these terrorists. These are terrorists, and that's an organized event. You know, take a look at their signs. Take a look. They're all made by the same sign company. A nice, expensive job. Now, these are the people that finance it are, in my opinion, in just as big a trouble as the people that are setting the match and setting the fires. So we'll see. It's under very serious investigation by the FBI and by the Justice Department. These people are terrorists.
You love to see it. President Trump, again, was taken down to a safe room in the White House when a mob of frothing orcs, calling themselves Black Lives Matter, but they're actually just fascistic terrorists that wanted to kill the president. And they said so. I was there. We asked them on camera. They said, our job is to kill Donald Trump. That's what they said. They stormed the ramparts, the White House, burned down the churches, burned down buildings at the White House with the intended goal of killing Donald Trump. That was their goal. That was what they said they were there to do. Not a single one of them caught a case. Not a single one of them was charged. They were just openly engaging in what is a real insurrection. This is an actual insurrection activity. To, by means of force, go take out and kill the leader of the country. None of them were charged. It's the greatest abomination of justice in our lifetime. I think that there are statutes of limitations, depending on how far you want to go back and litigate these things. But I love seeing these charges hit lib activists. They've lived in total impunity, and it's been sickening to watch. It's been sickening to see the cheering on of the destruction of Tesla. Here's Tim Walz from last week. Tim Walz getting up, bragging about his little stock thingy and how he opens it up every single morning to watch Tesla stock go down. Let's go.
My phone, I don't know, some of you know this on the iPhone. They've got that little stock app. I added Tesla to it to give me a little boost during the day. 225 and dropping. So this dumbass doesn't realize that the pensions in the state of Minnesota rely heavily on Tesla stock. They own something like 5 million shares of Tesla stock. There's hundreds of millions of dollars of pensions in his own state for first responders and cops and teachers that are entirely dependent on the price of Tesla right now. And he's sitting there bragging, I'm going to run for president. I'm going to be president. Him, Bernie, AOC. Oh, what a ride. It's going to be a fun one. Tim Walz, of course, getting completely owned this morning. Here's the price of Tesla right now. It's Tim Walz' hardest hit. And also there is a fight back against this. This is something that went viral over the weekend. They reporting from our friend Savannah Hernandez outside of a Tesla dealership in Austin, Texas, that was being protested against. And she says that all the protesters are there and are entirely being astroturfed, totally being paid. They all left exactly at noon when they had to clock out from their professional protesting jobs. This is something that happened all throughout the presidential campaign. In 2024, Kamala Harris had rent-a riots, rent-a mobs, rent-a rallies. These individuals, it's like the same people going to every single Kamala Harris rally. They're driving in. They're like driving across the country. There are plenty of stories about people who are being paid, who are illegal immigrants being paid to go to Kamala Harris rallies, to just fill in. And this was their full-time job. I'd really love to see an investigation into that. But Savannah Hernandez, friend of the show and somebody who we love, was standing outside of a Tesla dealership with a massive sign saying, "Thank you, Elon Musk." Here we go.
Back to you!
You're breaking the law. Stopping traffic is against the law. Angry terroristic Democrats are called Democrats. They say you say the wrong word, and then they blow you up. They blow up the Tesla dealership. Elon Musk is the man. Elon Musk is the man. He's tired of your children.
So like Trump got him to protest electric cars. The left is so broken. The Democrat Party's done, man. This is how do you live with so many contradictions? How do you live like this exactly? We saw Savannah holding up this sign. We thought it was beautiful. She got like a ton. She went very viral for bravely standing here with a "Thank you, Elon Musk" sign this past weekend. Here's what she had to say.
We're back here. Hey guys, this is Savannah Hernandez outside of the Tesla showroom in Austin, Texas. Now I'm holding a sign that says, "Thank you, Elon, buy more Teslas." And I came to hold this sign because there were protesters on the other side of this barrier. Craziest thing I've seen, this protest was supposed to be from 10 to noon. It is 12:15 and every single protester is gone, okay? So they have lined up here, they were back here, they're all gone. Like, so quickly. I don't think I've ever seen protesters leave that fast. Despite them being gone, I'm still here to support Elon Musk and support Tesla because I'm quite frankly tired of domestic terrorists across this nation coming and firebombing these dealerships, destroying people's private property, aka their Teslas, and using violence and intimidation to try to silence people. So it's very important that we stand up for Elon, for Tesla, and American business that has created countless American jobs. And of course, this administration, you know what, maybe we go to more of these protests and simply hold up the sign that says, "Buy more Teslas, we support Elon Musk," to show that the vast majority of Americans do support him, do support what is happening in the United States right now, which is why Donald Trump and his admin were given the mandate.
So we saw that and we said, we can do something. We can do something. We have a company that pays our bills and pays them on time. And thanks to you, we have a growing and successful company. And we view this as our duty to join in moments like this and to ensure that we can use every resource that we have for the betterment of our country. And so we're giving away a Tesla. This is not in partnership with Tesla. This is not in partnership with Elon Musk. Nobody's paying us to do this. We are going to pay full price out of pocket to a subscriber of this channel. So subscribe to this channel. If you're not already, you're crazy. Subscribe to this channel and we're going to pick a subscriber and I'll hand deliver you a Tesla, brand new Tesla. There's a website here. You go to it. The URL is at bennyjohnson.com. Down at the bottom, please. At bennyjohnson.com. Tesla giveaway. What's the actual URL there? Tesla giveaway. Okay. So you'll see it right there. It's a big splash on our website. It's simple as just subscribe, and then give us your email. That's it. And it's in the description of the video. So this is what is it? What kind of a flex is this? It's just us supporting Elon. That's it. It's just us supporting it. It's saying like this brand isn't toxic. Actually, like a bunch of people want a Tesla, and that we're going to do our part. And we've thought about potentially doing this we've thought about actually expanding this because it's been wildly successful. We just announced it last night. And we've considered maybe expanding it. I think maybe maybe we'll give away more than one. We'll see. We're working on it. We've never done a car giveaway before. So we'll see. Love to give a Tesla to like a January 6th family, right? Like I'd love to do that. This is maybe like sort of mix the metaphor there. But we'll see. But we want to be as generous as possible to the people around us to help out and take the resources that we have been graciously loaned by God. And so we're giving away a Tesla. It's going to be awesome. There's some very kick-ass Tesla models. And it's been very interesting doing the research on this. I think it's going to be extremely cool. So we look forward to doing that. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you are subscribed. That's us doing our part. Here's Alex Jones doing his part, driving in his Cybertruck with a bullhorn, very Alex Jones style, and going after the Tesla protesters. Klein, we should find them doing that. I don't know if they do this around Tampa. We should figure it out. Here we go.
America is winning and taking the country back from George Soros and the millionaires, and the leftist terrorists are not successful and will not be able to stop us from removing the deep state. America is rising. America is standing with President Trump and Elon Musk. America is standing against the tyrants, and we will defeat you. You can burn up Tesla dealerships. You can engage in terrorism. not going to work. Ready? It is not going to work.
Nobody voted for it. What are you talking about?
America. Leave me alone. You are a bunch of crap. You're a bunch of terrorists.
You're a bunch of terrorists. We need to do more of this. This is great. Klein, we need a Cybertruck. Klein, we got to get a Cybertruck and drive around with bullhorn on the back. It's like, it just the vibes are immaculate. Ladies and gentlemen, what energy does Alex Jones have that he can pull this kind of stuff off in the face of everything? In the face of so many trials, in the face of the weight of the entire superstate coming down on him, Alex Jones. Big fans of Alex Jones. He's always on the program, and he's just great. A ball of energy. We do our very hardest, very best to try and match that energy. Some days it's time we do got a newborn at home and got 4 kids under 4, and so sometimes it is tough. The best way that we can possibly lock in the morning is with our blackout coffee. Our blackout coffee fills literally our cup, make sure that we have the energy to keep grinding, to keep pushing. In the morning, Blackout Coffee is stepping up, adding more warriors to get your orders out faster. We actually just spoke with the owners of Blackout Coffee. They've invited us down to their brand new shipping warehouse. Massive, it's monstrous, it's an amazing company. And it's one of those companies that's got your back, okay? They've got our back every single morning. Don't just drink coffee, drink Blackout. Ladies and gentlemen, you can be awake and not woke. We're going to talk about Snow White. Woke is no longer popular and no longer part of the culture. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go broke. Don't go woke. Go and get yourself some Blackout Coffee. Blackoutcoffee.com/Benny. Use the coupon code Benny for 20% off your first order. Blackoutcoffee.com/Benny. Let's freaking go. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this was an awesome weekend where President Trump got a conquerors and heroes welcome in the state of Pennsylvania. And we happen to have a congressman from the state of Pennsylvania on our program. So we're going to talk about that and about Tesla terrorists with the great Scott Perry. Let's go. Scott, good morning. How are you, sir?
I'm awesome. How are you, Benny? It's great to hear you.
Good, man. Good. Like one of these days, we're just gonna do the show from the back of a Cybertruck with a bullhorn. So so you play clips sometimes. It just makes you jealous. So let's talk first about what these charges. Tesla terrorists getting potentially put in prison for 20 years. I love seeing this because I believe that the Civil Rights Act should be amended to say political violence. Like if you were engaging in violence that you're trying to kill somebody based on their politics, that's a civil rights violation. These should absolutely be accelerated charges. What's your take, Congressman, on that?
Well, actually, I don't think I can agree with you more. We've been talking about the civil rights of violations for political beliefs for a long time and what to do about that and how it only seems to be one-sided. And in this case, it's fascinating to me that, I don't know, 3 years ago, Elon Musk was the darling of the left, right? He was getting subsidies from the federal government. So you and me had to pay for subsidies for his cars. We had to pay people subsidies to buy his cars. And essentially you had state governments like California and increasingly the federal government saying it's sooner or later you're going to be mandated to only buy one of these cars. Like, this is America. Well, who's telling what? Why is our government telling us what kind of cars we can produce, what kind of cars we can buy, what kind of cars we're not allowed to own? Like, what country did I just wake up in? And then of course it's all turned around because Elon Musk woke up one day and saw the censorship of the left and realized that his basic freedoms were being taken away, and if he didn't do something about it, it was all going to be gone for him and his kids. And he decided the best way to do it was to fight the left. And now immediately he's turned into public enemy number one, eclipsing even the president himself. They're going after him. And of course, this is just wanton political violence based on Elon Musk's viewpoint. And, that's not accepted anywhere in the United States of America because it is a civil right to be able to believe in whatever you want to believe in, even if other people might think it's crazy. You're supposed to be allowed to believe in whatever you want to without the fear of violence being perpetrated against you. And that's clearly and obviously precisely what this is.
So we have a real problem in this country where, and I'm sure this happened in your town, it certainly happened where I was living in Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. during 2020, where there is no charges. Nothing ever happens. If you're a leftist and you attack President Trump with the intention of killing him, which is what they did in May the 20th of 2020, the true insurrection day. Right. Because by definition, an insurrection is when you're armed and you're attacking the leader of the country in order to depose or kill them. And that's what they all said. And I can speak with experience about this, Congressman, because I was standing there with a camera asking them, and they all told me they want to kill Trump. That's what they said. Then they burned the White House. They burned down buildings that are part of the White House compound. They stormed the ramparts. He was
down in the bunker, right?
That's
He was being sheltered by the Secret Service for his own safety.
Congressman, maybe you could educate me. Did anybody catch a insurrection or a terrorist charge who tried to kill the president that day?
Certainly not that I know of. If there is, I don't know about it. That you know, when they do it, they're saving democracy. When you speak your mind, you're an insurrectionist. That's how that's how these two systems work. They're very separate, but that's how it is.
So that dynamic though needs to change. Somebody's going to have to do the hard work of, and here's the footage here. I mean, you can't find this footage anywhere else. They buried this as quickly as they possibly could because it looks so terrible for the left.
Right.
But somebody needs to set the examples here. And it seems like the Trump DOJ is finally going to say, like, listen, if you're a domestic left-wing terrorist, you're going to go to prison for a very long time and your life's over. Somebody's going to finally have to rip that Band-Aid off. And it's great to see it happen. It can't happen fast enough because otherwise every city in America will look just like this.
That's exactly right. Right. None of these people were interested in any public discourse for the last 4 years, right? Not whether it was reasonable discourse or even kind of resorting to violence. But as soon as, President Trump is reelected and we start taking accountability at the federal level, suddenly all their political violence, the same thing that happened in 2016, all that is now allowable again. And, right before his previous election in the Summer of Love, where they took over federal courthouses and tried to barricade police in and set the building on fire. Yeah. And, when they attacked just individuals for wearing a red hat or, you name the infraction. So, yeah, we got to be able to live in a country where we understand the standards and where those standards are applied equally. Not where you can think one thing and it's all okay to burn down your neighbor's house or their car or the dealership or what have you, or go after the president. And when you live in another one and you can't even say, the word MAGA, or if you do, you're subject to potentially prison terms and fines that bankrupt you and destroy your life for the foreseeable future.
Would you be in favor of amending the Civil Rights Act to include political persecution? Because the number of people who have been physically attacked, violently threatened, or wounded because they wore a red MAGA hat. And here's a clip from just Friday, and it's a woman going berserker mode in New York. I'm sure you saw it. She goes running after this guy because he's wearing a red MAGA hat. And she face plants right into a puddle of piss from a homeless criminal alien because it's in New York. And so it's funny. But nonetheless, so flip it around. I lived in D.C., Congressman. I was surrounded by people wearing Obama gear day and night.
You're immersed in it.
Never once did it even cross my mind to say something to somebody. Right?
Yeah, right.
Because you just you roll with it, okay?
Yeah, you got your thing, I got my thing.
Sure.
I got your thing's not my thing's not your thing, but that's America, so it's okay.
So, well, I mean, I think at some point you have to accept that the vast majority of the violence is going one direction. All the violence is going one direction.
Yeah.
And say, we should maybe make this a protected. This should be protected. Actually, well, it's a civil rights violation.
Yeah, it is. It simply is a civil rights violation. Just like being a Jewish student on campus, there's a violation if you can't attend your class and you have to barricade yourself in your room because you fear for your life, as opposed if you're a Hamas supporter and you get to go out and take over the campus and spit on people of Jewish origin as they walk in. Look, we have one standard. We just need to enforce it. Am I open to? Look, I am open to discussing it, because we can't keep going the way we're going, where one side gets a pass to commit violent acts and the other side just gets to take it.
Yeah, that's right. We look forward. I mean, we know Harmeet very well, and Leah Terrell's been on the show. We look forward to really like pushing this issue, because as a young student, especially with young men, swinging really, really hard to the right and supporting their country and sort of, regathering masculinity and the desire to be openly a Trump supporter and love this country, you should protect that. They're going to try everything they can to try and destroy that. This really concerns them. And so they're going to go after these little kids. And I want to make sure that that's protected.
Yeah, we want to make sure that people aren't fearful of speaking their minds and believing whatever they want to. And we want to make sure that it's not sanctioned by the law to intimidate people. That's something that had happened in this country years ago. We all thought we got rid of that. And of course, it was the left then. Nothing has changed. It's the left again.
Yes. Speaking of those young men who are extremely patriotic and love their country, they were all gathered in Philadelphia, and they were with President Trump during the NCAA's wrestling tournament. It was a legendary series of matches. Donald Trump welcomed like a conquering hero. It was awesome. I don't know if you were there.
I was.
Congressman. Were you?
I
okay.
was, yeah,
okay. Well, then let's chat about it. We got some B-roll to put up, but the floor is yours. Pretty epic.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I will tell you, the crowd, of course, full of young people, people that get that the woke ideology doesn't work. Because guess what? In wrestling, the only thing that matters is victory. It's you out there on the mat for the period of time, and there's no DEI going on there, right? You have to rise to the standard by your own wits, by your own ability, and ability and success is rewarded, and failure is not rewarded there. And what was wonderful is almost every single one of those young men, after they got their trophy, wanted to go get their picture with the president, wanted to be seen with the president, wanted to be seen shaking the hands of Elon Musk. This isn't like your 65-year-old guy, that's from some other age trying to reclaim the history that was in America. This is young men in America today who understand that, America is worth saving. And there's one movement right now, one political movement that's capable of doing that. And it's being led by the president and the people around him. And they want to be part of that. They want to be part of that success as well.
These photos are just immaculate. Donald Trump's like having the time of his life. This is Donald Trump doing the wave. I'm sure you're doing the wave with him here. Donald Trump grappling with a champ. And I've seen a lot of Donald Trump expressions. Haven't seen this face before.
Right.
This is a good one. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, we're right there, and the young man walked up, and he's like just like I'm out on the mat, I'm taking you on, Mr. President. And the president loves this stuff, because there's no room for failure here. You're either a winner or you're not. You're either the best or you're not. And of course, the president loves that kind of thing. He loves people that bring themselves up and are successful by their own dint of will. And he celebrates that. And of course, this young champion is celebrating right with him. It's exactly what the left hates to see. And that's why I love seeing these young people, unafraid to go out and say, I'm with the president right here, right now on this issue.
Yeah. Where else are you going to get an Air Force lieutenant who wins in the biggest underdog victory possibly in sports history and goes over, drapes himself in the American flag, and then hugs President Trump?
He saluted the president. Look, I've watched these matches. He beat the biggest, baddest guy. The guy never loses, beats the Russians, beats internationally, wins every single match. And this young man went out there and said, went over by him, took the flag over by him before the match, and never stopped wrestling. And after this upset, this massive upset, he salutes the president of the United States. It was it was just a moment that you will never really find in whether in sports history or political history. It was great and awesome to be here. And of course, we celebrate the competitors of that match.
Yeah, it was a great day for the state of Pennsylvania as well. Did you go to Penn State?
I did. Penn State's got the wrestling dynasty. We love being there. Unprecedented victories again. 10 All-Americans. Look, can't say enough about the coach and our team and the athletes that perform on that team. Nothing better.
Oh, great. I was like, there's not many painful interviews that we conduct here, but as a graduate of the University of Iowa, this one has been painful. So
well, look, Iowa's got a tough team, and Penn State is still trying to catch their record. But look, competition is good for all of us, right? It makes us all better.
That's right, Congressman. You're never welcome back. See, no, it's so awesome. It's so good for the country. And it was just great to see. Godspeed, Congressman. Thank you so much. Everybody follow the great Scott Perry, who is quite the fighter and always spits fire on the program, tells it like it is. And we're very excited to see what happens this week, man. Be really nice to see some left-wing terrorists actually go to prison.
We got to get some victories here for America. Got to get some.
That's right. Thank you, Congressman. Godspeed.
Thank you. God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, man, I tell you what, the victories continue to pile up. We've been talking a little bit about what we've seen in the culture wars from the perspective of the woke brand not just becoming toxic, but becoming the way you destroy your company. Now, we've seen this with Bud Light. We've seen this with Target. We've seen this with the boycotts of Disney. But we've never seen something as bad as what happened this weekend with the Snow White release. Snow White is a live-action remake starring a insufferable narcissist named Rachel Ziegler, who has said on camera that she does not ever want anyone from this country who politically disagrees with her to go and see her movies. Now, we are the majority of the country. There are hundreds of millions of Trump supporters, maybe not exactly Trump voters, but there are hundreds of millions of people who support Donald Trump. So this is a bold strategy. Here's Rachel Ziegler telling Trump supporters that if they disagree with her, that she doesn't need their business. Okay, hold on. Let's go right here.
Our rights are on the line, folks. Our reproductive rights. Come on. Go vote blue. And if you disagree with this sentiment, just hit the unfollow button. I don't need your business. Thanks.
Okay. She's also somebody who said that Trump supporters should never know peace and that she curses Donald Trump upon his election to office. Now, she's saying all these things whilst asking for Americans to go in and buy tickets to go see her brand new movie. I hope Trump supporters never know peace. This is what Rachel Ziegler says. So, well, I mean, first time I've ever said this on the program, but, and please hear me out here. I'm very glad that Americans listened to Rachel Ziegler, because Americans did listen to her and did exactly as she asked. She says that she doesn't need our business. And America just delivered the single greatest fail to Disney in the history of their live action remakes. The Snow White release flopped and bombed really hard, making only $43 million on a $300 million budget. And that's before marketing. So it's probably $500 million that they're spending on this thing. It's being panned by all the critics. It's being destroyed by all the rating systems. IMDb has 2 stars. Theaters are empty across the country. Metacritic was as low as 0.06 score. This thing is being destroyed by left-wing media as well, calling it completely and totally insufferable and saying that Disney destroyed their own brand. So you effed around and found out. And you just love to see it happen to the people that are the most deserving. Does this make Rachel Ziegler entirely toxic because she's speed ramped her way into being an audience killer? Like a lot faster than most Hollywood starlets do? Yeah, I think so. I think it's a career ender. We'll see. Hollywood's a weird place. But I do know this, that this marks the low watermark for wokeness in Hollywood. And please pull up the, these are all the empty theaters. And this is again, the biggest Hollywood bomb in your lifetime or mine. But I want to they just hate you. And I want to just establish one quick thing. This ending scene, I couldn't get this out of my head. I posted it this weekend. This ending scene where they're all dancing in town. Of course, I didn't see the movie. I don't do that professionally. There's a bunch of movie reviewers on YouTube that go and have to see these things, and that's fine. But I did see this clip go viral. And it's this clip of everyone doing this happy dance at the end of the movie. And the movie's been panned and destroyed. The entire narrative is a total mess. But the dance scene at the end of the movie is really something. They tried to be so woke with this thing. Snow White is a European fairy tale. It's set in the Black Forest of Germany in the feudal ages. It's a European fairy tale. Snow White's named Snow White because her skin is white as snow. Her hair is dark as ebony, her lips as red as blood. Yet, even while the aesthetics are entirely European, like the architecture and the costuming, the actors, the casting that they chose, looks directly out of Los Angeles 2025. They wouldn't dare do this to a Mulan movie, or to Coco, or to Jungle Book. They wouldn't dare do this to Wakanda, or, a Black Panther movie. But they do it here, and it really begs the question, why? Because what ends up happening is not only do you desecrate your own IP, but you end up taking the entire audience out of it. You create something for no one. I don't need Wakanda looking like this either. Do you know what I mean? It's okay to just live in the realities in the make-believe world of these stories. But this is just a perfect encapsulation of how they are trying to inject the modern day politics of the Los Angeles that the writers live in today and destroy classics. And it's why no one goes. And they've been doing this to our culture. They've been running this game through our culture for a very long time. And now I think it's finally over. I think this actually marks the death knell of this insult to aesthetics, this insult to creativity, and this insult to, quite frankly, our shared stories, because that's really what it is. It's, Snow White is the single most successful animated movie of all time. Snow White, adjusted for inflation, is the highest grossing animated film ever. It actually made the Walt Disney Studios. It won Walt Disney his Oscars. Nobody ever thought that an animated feature would ever win an Oscar. It did. And it set up the studio for this insufferable witch to go and desecrate it. And I think it's a beautiful moment to prove all of us collectively saying, actually, our past is not that bad. We quite enjoyed watching Snow White as little kids, along with every other Disney classic. We don't need you to update it for a non-existent modern audience. And when you do that, you're not going to get the modern version of the highest grossing film of all time. You're going to get the opposite. You're going to get a bomb. And that's a powerful message to send as a society. It's a very, very good message, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very, very proud of all of us for collectively not buying tickets and having this thing completely get destroyed. So Disney effed around. They found out, and not even the libs in the media are protecting them. The reviews are hysterical. I encourage you to go read them. The reviews are hysterical, even from like the New York Times, the Guardian, Times of London, the Los Angeles Times, even from lib publications. This thing is just getting gutted. And so it does mark a moment where things are changing. It's really, really exciting. Ladies and gentlemen, things are changing in a state. Yeah, my producers are saying Disney did a final send-off to the Diddy White Party. This is exactly right. Ladies and gentlemen, things are changing in the state of Florida, where there's quite a bit of Disney going on in this state. I'm not sure if my next guest is a fan of Disney or not. I guess we'll find out. She is a fan of who I believe will be the next governor of this fine state, Byron Donalds. Byron Donalds' wife joins the program live now. I was going to say welcome, Erica Donalds, but Killer Klein was a little bit over caffeinated on the stinger there. Welcome to the program, Erica. What do you think about Disney's Snow White bomb this past weekend?
Well, like you, I'm very disappointed in Disney these days, ever since their woke was exposed a few years ago, right after COVID, with all of the queer injections they were trying to do in all of the classic movies and the little kids television programs. Yes. You know, Byron and I had Disney passes for many years when our kids were little and spent a lot of time at the most magical place on earth. We were big fans, but certainly have not been there since all of that was exposed and are not going to be customers of Disney for as long as they continue this type of behavior.
Yeah, I think that they're losing their core base, right? You should make entertainment for families, for children, and you shouldn't be put, no parent on earth wants their child to be propagandized to. Like, you should just simply make entertainment that the children like, right? Like, as a parent of young children, this is something that would make sense. This is absolutely your business model. If you want to go into politics, it's a nasty game, but you can do that. You just don't have to use the Disney brand to do that. And it's atrocious what they've done, I think.
It's been completely co-opted, and it's what the left does, what woke does. It tries to take over our institutions that represent the best of America and turn it into this modern day indoctrination centers. And Disney, unfortunately, fell prey to that. But we did see you go woke, you go broke. It has definitely suffered. We're seeing that right now with Snow White. Hopefully they wise up, but they haven't really done so. Unfortunately, sometimes we have to create what we talk about often, a parallel economy and other options for families outside of Disney because we don't trust them with our children.
Yes, yes. And I hope that would change. There's been a lot of muscling between the state of Florida and the Disney brand over the last couple of years. Just your thoughts on that before we dive into your education background and your future work.
I agree with the free market and what Governor DeSantis did initially when Disney tried to come against what were very reasonable legislation to keep inappropriate materials out of classrooms was absolutely wrong. And I think exposing that and taking away whatever government preferences that they had at the time was the right move. Unfortunately, it worked some, but I think they've just gone into hiding with it. And as you see with Snow White, it hasn't completely gone away, but the free market can help to take care of that. And as we talk about education, that is our job in a capitalistic society to come up with other options for families, whether that's in the realm of education or entertainment.
So let's chat about that. This is something that's very near and dear to your heart. You have a beautiful family, and I got a chance to actually meet your boys at a UFC fight in Tampa a couple months ago. You got to be really proud of that. And there's obviously a great model here in the state of Florida for bringing up kids. That's why so many families are moving here. And I'm sure your family running for the governor's mansion here in the state of Florida has this as a top priority.
Yes, absolutely. Education is, as you said, very near to our hearts. I was in investment management for 20 years before I made what I call the questionable life decision to run for school board. But serving my community on the school board showed me how broken our education system is. Even here in Florida, even in a red county like Collier County, I was there just to help my family, my children to have a better educational experience and other people in my community. What I found was that this education monopoly is absolutely rotted from the inside out. And we need complete change. We need to break the monopoly. We need more competition, more school choice to really elevate the entire industry with more access, quality, and innovation. And so I've made it my life mission over the past 15 years to work on education policy at state level. I did a lot in Florida, helped other states, and now I'm working through America First Policy Institute with Secretary McMahon and her team, as well as the White House, to help implement better policies and dismantle the Department of Education, as President Trump has promised, and really bring more choice and competition across our country.
So if your husband wins the election and he's announced, got Trump in backing and endorsement, and if Trump gets his way and is able to get rid of the Department of Education, that'd be very interesting. I mean, I guess you could technically do it. You could do it through reconciliation in the Senate. It could really happen. I mean, some people are dooming saying you won't get 67 Senate votes. You actually absolutely could get just 51, and you could truly get rid of the Department of Education. How would that look then on a state level? Like what then happens? The money, the federal money then flows to the state? How's that operation work?
Well, we've already seen half of the Department of Education's employees be laid off through reduction in force, which happened a couple of weeks ago. Now we, of course, have this executive order. So even without a vote in Congress, there's a lot that can be done at the administrative level to cut down the amount of bureaucracy in the Department of Education, including what President Trump and Linda McMahon have put forth, is taking the money that is currently allocated for low-income students or students with disabilities and simply giving that money to the states and saying, you have to be responsible for meeting these students' needs. Whether they're low income or special needs students, keep giving them the services, but you don't have to continue to report that in the same manner. And some have estimated that costs 40 cents on the dollar to comply with federal mandates, not about providing the services, because we've heard teachers say, I spend more time filling out paperwork than actually providing the services to my special needs students. So we want to cut out all the bureaucracy, but make sure that that funding remains in place. But now it's on the states and the localities to make sure those services are done correctly. But they've been doing it for so long. Don't they know how to do that now? And now they'll have more funding to do it with.
So it's just a really important thing in the state of Florida writ large to keep this like a family-friendly state. That's why I moved my children down here. And the most precious thing that you have, of course, is your children. You want them to grow up safe. You want them to grow up in communities that value law and order. There's been a spate of swattings that have happened across the state for conservative influencers, myself included. And we try not to make a big deal out of it, but to do our very best to say, there are children here in the line of fire. This is like something that is clearly terrorism intended to kill families and to harm children. And so what would you encourage the state to do about those kind of activities were you to get the governor's mansion?
Well, obviously, I'm not running for governor. I'm running for first lady, though.
Yeah, but first lady has quite an effect when it comes to, fathers and children, right?
We are a law and order state. We have been for a very long time, and that's why you didn't see a lot of the riots and things like that happening here in Florida when it was happening all over the country. We have incredible county sheriffs. We know a lot of them personally, and they are working very hard to address these issues and come down, and frankly, make examples out of those that are doing this, catch them and show everyone this is not going to be acceptable here in Florida. I totally expect that they are going to lay down the law as these people are exposed that are doing these things. But I think it is about creating an atmosphere of law and order. I know Governor DeSantis has done that, and every one of our county sheriffs has come out very strong against these types of activities and said, we're not going to tolerate that in the state of Florida, and we're going to prosecute it to the full extent of the law. That type of leadership comes from the top. And we've been very fortunate to have that in the governor's mansion all the way down to the county level as well.
So if you think that you're going to light a Tesla on fire and paint a swastika on a Tesla and burn it, to the ground, who cares who's inside or who it might harm? What's your message to that person in the state of Florida?
This is the wrong state to do that, because you will be made an example of. You will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. You will be exposed. No one is going to protect you and protect your identity and protect who you are when you refuse to protect your fellow man and your fellow community members. It is absolutely unacceptable, this vandalism. And it's shocking, actually, that there are places in this country where they are light on these activities because they agree with the political persuasions of the people who are committing these crimes. But when it comes to, if this were to happen on the right, and we don't set things on fire, right? We peacefully protest. We protest by not buying something like we did with Bud Light. We're not going over and lighting beer on fire because we don't agree with their political persuasions. But it's shocking and unfortunate. What I expect is we are going to continue to see the influx of population coming from these states to Florida, because one of the number one reasons that people were moving to Florida and have been moving to Florida is that they don't feel safe in their communities in these blue states, because they're not only not arresting and coming down hard on these people, but then when it comes to prosecution, they're not prosecuting them and making sure that they go to jail for these offenses. It's unreal that in America, we have taken a position in some of these states not to protect our citizens from these activities.
Yes. So final question on protecting children. I know there's been quite a bit of news this morning. We'll see how it plays out. Sometimes these things don't. But that RFK is going to be banning pharmaceutical advertisements on TV, and I think that's awesome. I think there should be zero pharmaceutical advertising on any media. But that comes on the heels of course, banning food dyes, and then a big conversation about SNAP benefits and sodas this past weekend. I guess I have never asked, do you consider yourself a Maha mom? Is this something that you would be pushing for as First Lady of the state of Florida?
Yeah, I wouldn't consider myself someone who's very into health and wellness and food and organics and all that. I've just never been like that. But I actually did tell Byron that this weekend, like, I need to get a little more into this, Maha thing, because I recognize that I want to stay healthy. I want, my family to be healthy. I try to cook and eat healthy. And I'm very intrigued and supportive of the efforts to increase the health of our country overall. I recognize that these chemicals are very damaging. We have really high rates of disease here compared to other places that do crack down on these types of chemicals in their food, even in your soaps and things like that. I definitely recognize that as an issue, and I'm fully supportive of this kind of a movement to make our country healthier overall, because I want us all to live long and enjoy our lives, enjoy our families, enjoy this amazing country. So while it's not my area of expertise, obviously, I think our children definitely need to read, but they also need to be very healthy and be able to, achieve the American dream and have wonderful families of their own, like you and I have.
Yes, that is actually the key to unlocking happiness in life, and they don't say it enough, and so we try to say it on this program. Here's your beautiful family, and it's something that I'm very excited to do. I think we'll be speaking at the first campaign rally this next weekend, and we're very excited about the
Friday night. Come one, come all. Come to Bonita Springs, the Paradise Coast on the Gulf of America, and join us on Friday night at this amazing venue called Sugar Shack in downtown Bonita Springs, right here in our district, kicking off the campaign. It's gonna be fun.
You passed the Gulf of America test, so excellent. We're excited about it. Thank you so much, Erica, for joining us. It's been a pleasure. Godspeed. Good luck.
Thanks for having me, Benny.
Ladies and gentlemen, just a reminder that you can go to our Tesla giveaway link on our website at bennyjohnson.com. I'll be hand delivering a free Tesla to someone. We mean it when we say, like, we are going to fight for what we believe in on this show. What do we believe in? Free speech. We can't do the show without it. Patriot Mobile is the company that keeps us locked in with our cell phone provider, with our ability to speak freely and to deliver the news to you, especially when we are traveling. Ladies and gentlemen, Patriot Mobile is the only Christian conservative wireless provider. It is what powers this show. It is the backbone of our cellular service when we are on the road. And when we are rocking and rolling, it keeps us connected to you. It'll also keep you connected to the rights that you so love in this country, like the First Amendment and Second Amendment, and the ability, of course, to speak freely, supporting your veterans, first responders, and the sanctity of life. Right now, go to patriotmobile.com/Benny or call 972-PATRIOT. Get a free month of service with the promo code Benny. Switch to Patriot Mobile today to defend freedom with every single call or text that you make. patriotmobile.com/Benny. All right. Kash Patel did his first interview over the weekend. Speaking of speaking freely, FBI Director Kash Patel is talking about how he's restoring the trust inside of the FBI Epstein list. Arrests, right? But most importantly, the arrests are actually happening. Here's Kash Patel talking about the work that's been done so far.
All right, Director, you've been very intentional about moving agents out of D.C. and back into the field, which is where they really ought to be. Why is that important to you?
Well, Trey, this is my first media appearance since taking the job, and I'm glad that it's on your wonderful show. And what I want to do is highlight for the American public that there's 38,000 employees at the FBI. If you take the national capital region, as the folks around Washington, D.C. call it, the 50-mile radius around Washington, D.C., we have 11,000 employees for the FBI in that 50-mile radius, give or take. And a third of the crime does not happen in this region. A large portion of one of my priorities, fighting violent crime, crushing narco traffickers, stopping fentanyl overdoses, is happening in any town USA across this country. And they need resources in the form not just of money, but manpower. So we're going to reorient our assets in Washington. We're going to look at it strategically, as we've been doing the last month, and send our agents and analysts and SOS operatives into the field to take on this violent crime explosion that has occurred over these last 4 or 5 years, and to make sure that every state and every county, be it in my hometown of Las Vegas, Nevada, or up in Montana or in Kansas or Iowa or Maine, is all safe and secure. And the best way to do that is through a proper show of force with the FBI men and women who do this job so courageously every day out in the streets fighting crime.
We got somebody for you, Kash. We got somebody for you to investigate. Here is Jasmine Crockett, just dropped. Remember, Jasmine doesn't wish violence on anyone, she says, when she wished for a birthday present for somebody to end Elon Musk. Jasmine Crockett now says that Republicans need to be punched and that Ted Cruz has to be knocked over the head, like, really, really hard. These are the kind of examples that I'm looking forward to. These are the kind of people that do need to be made examples of. Like, you just need to launch the investigation. Just launch the investigation and find out what she means by saying this kind of stuff. Maxine Waters openly said that every single Trump supporter should never know peace in public, that they should be attacked at gas stations and at restaurants right on the heels of that. Hundreds of people wearing MAGA hats on campuses and in public were attacked. That's an incitement to violence. You should be able to charge Maxine Waters with things like this. This was happening the first term. Sarah Sanders was run out of a restaurant right after Maxine Waters said that. A little restaurant called the Red Hen. Trump curse as well. That restaurant's now out of business. But Sarah Sanders, you might recall, had the entire staff swarm her. She's just out for dinner with her family. The entire staff swarmed her and push her out of a restaurant and say, you're not welcome here. It's a civil rights violation. We should amend the Civil Rights Act for this. It's as bad as doing this based on race or religion or whatever. And it'd be nice to set an example. Here's Jasmine Crockett.
I think that you punch. I think you punch. I think you're okay with you okay with punching. I think and I love Colin, and I think towards the end he started to punch a little harder. But, it's Ted Cruz. I mean, this dude has to be knocked over the head, hard, right? There is no niceties with him, at all. You go clean off on him, right?
As they lose power, they're going to get more violent. So keep your head on a swivel. It's just something that we often say. they're going to get more violent. Something that we've had to do is increase security around here and increase security for our family, because these people, they have nothing else. They're not connected to something that actually provides purpose and meaning in their lives. Like we have our faith, we have our family. They're not connected to something that's real and that's powerful and that has something that brings them actual eternal joy. That they don't have those things. They're unhinged. And when you start to desecrate their pagan church, which is the state, then they start to lose their minds. And that's what they're doing. Whether it's attacking Teslas or saying that Trump supporters should never know peace, or saying you got to, if you're Rachel Ziegler, you say, unsubscribe, I don't need your business. Well, okay, message heard. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why we stay locked in every single day with our verse of the day from 2 Timothy 2:15. Work hard so you can present yourself to God and receive his approval. Be a good worker, one who does not need to be ashamed, and who correctly explains the word of truth. Work hard. It's very good for your life. Like, make sure that you are constantly grinding, because when you're doing, like when you're creating and when you're using the skills that God has given to you, man, you find a lot of purpose in that. And you will find a blessing when you've actually like locked in and found the right path. Like the doors will just swing open. We've experienced this. And that's why we're really thankful for you. We're thankful to be able to do this every single day. It's a blessing, and it's something that we don't take for granted. It's why we want to give back with our Tesla giveaway. Please go on over to BennyJohnson.com and sign up. That's all you got to do is subscribe. We don't need any money from you. We don't need you to buy anything. We don't need you to cash in. We're just going to do our part to give away a free Tesla. Why? Because, well, we work hard. We present ourselves before God, and we hope to receive his approval, as the verse says. Ladies and gentlemen, march with us. Work hard with us. On to victory. It's your boy Benny.
Welcome to the 2028 presidential race that the Democrats have downs. They're at the gate, and they're off. Jumping out in the lead is Bernie Sanders and another vacation home close behind. It's a DNC dumpster fire and shocking reality, and now here comes policy flip-flopper. A disastrous midterms falls back as Kamala takes the reins. Kamala's cackle falls off quickly as a flood of illegal immigrants move into position. And here comes AOC, followed by no children and the dumbest thing we've ever heard. Coming down the back stretch, Bernie's new beach house, moving ahead of Jasmine Crockett's finger snap, but coming on the inside is head bob and no, you didn't. It's Build Back Broke, followed by USAID was my campaign funding. I have no campaign funding is challenging for second going into the clubhouse turn. Passing on the rail is DNC dumpster fire, followed by raising taxes, trans kids, and general degeneracy. Here they come spinning out of the turn. Big Pharma in the lead, but here comes Big Soda and Big Glitter. Sniffy Joe was stronger, and Disappointed Nancy are neck and neck. And down the stretch they come. The squad is pulling away from a rainbow flag by a length. But coming in strong is Big Booty Latina. Big Booty Latina is passing a burning Tesla, and at the wire it's General Degeneracy crying salty tears, and at least I ain't Donald Trump.
Where the truth gon' be, faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to light. From the speeches to debates, Benny sharp like a blade. Cutting through the lies, watch the truth cascade. With the warrior's heart, this man never fades. You know it's prime time when Benny invades. From saving the nation to stories untold, the Benny Show's a storm, see the truth unfold. Stay in the loop, let freedom take hold. Salting all the libs, soul never sold. It's the Benny Show, where the truth gon' be. Faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to light. Liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. From the speeches to debates, Benny sharp like a blade. Cutting through the lies, watch the truth cascade. With the warrior's heart, this man never fades. You know it's prime time when Benny invades. From saving the nation to stories untold, the Benny Show's a storm, see the truth unfold. Stay in the loop, let freedom take hold. Salting all the libs, soul never sold. It's the Benny Show, where the truth gon' be. Faith and freedom on your your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light.